So appreciate everybody joining today. So this is pretty much going to be all hands-on. I'm not going to PowerPoint anyone to death. It looks like should be plenty of time for questions as well. And that way, again, if you have any questions, you're looking to get started in NFTs, I'll do whatever I can to help you out with that. And again, the goal of today is not to go through the PowerPoint of death. Welcome aboard, Gary. Welcome aboard, Cindy, Tor Honda, and Danny, and Christopher as well. Looks like we have a few names here I recognize from previous meetups, so thanks for joining. And we will have today's recording available to you as well, so you go back and basically try things out yourself and while I go through the whole process. Now, quick introduction. I actually do have a PowerPoint, but again, it's just there. This is more for a course that I'm putting together. And again, it's meant to sort of add value for folks that couldn't attend the meetup as well. But I just want to do a quick introduction. Again, I'm not going to go through the slides, but I will make them available to you. So my name is Joseph Holbrook. I run the meetup group here in Jacksonville. So I run the blockchain and I also run the Google Cloud one as well. So please join in that. We have some exciting meetups coming and some interesting speakers are planned for March and April as well. Once I have those firm times set up, I'll go ahead and send out the meetup for those invitations. So I've been working in tech for probably 30 years or so. Don't want to date myself. I've also been trading quite a bit as well with cryptocurrencies and NFTs. And one thing I can tell you is that sometimes the media makes things a little bit more glorious than what they really are. And I'll show you how you can figure that out. But there's a lot of opportunities out there, so don't take that the wrong way. I always tell people tread with caution. Now, again, I'm not here to provide anyone financial advice. I'm just here to sort of give you instructions on what you could do, give you some thoughts. I've gotten a lot of interest with NFTs. I'm a little surprised by sort of the amount of interest. Yesterday, I talked to actually one of the local folks here in Jacksonville. Basically, that is a former Jacksonville Jaguars player. I won't disclose his name until he goes public with his NFT collection. And I've been sort of providing advice on what he can do and sort of exciting times. And I also work with the Chamber of Commerce for Web3 as well here in Jacksonville. So with that said, I'm also a published author. I own a platform called Techcommanders.com. And basically, this is my book here. Oh, of course, I got my background on, so it doesn't matter. You can't see it. Probably, I always forget to turn that off. But anyways, so that's my background, prior U.S. Navy veteran as well. So it looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wow, okay. So that's like a 3% attendance rate. But again, like I said, this meetup is interesting to see the interest. But again, I know it's 9 o'clock, so a lot of people may not be able to show up. So I wasn't sure what to expect, but it's funny because, again, the interest is there. And also, too, I'll be working with an organization called 101 Blockchains. And basically, I'll be working with some certifications around them. I've worked with them before, and I have a couple blockchain certs that we put out together. So really great future with NFTs, the metaverse. So we had a great meetup just, I think, last month or earlier in the month on the metaverse, and a lot of opportunities there as well. Okay, so what I like to do now is I'm going to shut my mouth for a minute and go around the room and see what people are doing. Let us know, your name, where you're from, why you're here, what you want to learn. And the goal is to provide you sort of that hands-on sort of advice And again, a lot of meetups I have found, you go to and they're just there to run their mouths and try to sell you a $3,000 course in the ladder. So that's not the goal here. You're going to get real examples live, and I'm going to walk you through the whole process. All right. So what I'd like to do is I'm going to start up at the top here of my list, and I have Christopher Leckett. Would you like to let us know where you're from, what you want to learn today as well? Okay. Is that, let me just double check. No, I have that turned off. Okay, so I've got 3 screens here. Sorry about that. I'm going back and forth. Why is that not? All right, give me a second. Okay, I've got the mute on. Let me go ahead and unmute that. Okay. So it looks like everything should. Okay, so some people have it off mute. I'm not sure. Go ahead and give it a try. Let me know if you're having issues. Okay. All right, Cindy. Cindy's unmuted. Would you like to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Cindy. I'm located in the Jacksonville area as well, and I've just been trying to do my due diligence with NFTs. I'd like to learn how to trade NFTs. I'm very new to this game and just trying to learn all that I can. So I really appreciate you hosting this.
Great. Well, I appreciate you coming. And thanks again. All right. And looks like, okay, so that was strange. I had this same issue here where the mute didn't work. Or actually the unmute didn't work, but it looks like it's working now. So good. Okay. It was like hanging, so some latency there. All right, so Danny's unmuted, Gary's unmuted. Go ahead, Danny.
Hi, I'm Danny Murphy. I'm a writer, very curious about NFTs, and just, as I say, trying to learn a little bit more about something new.
Excellent. Thanks, Danny. Where are you from?
I live in Jacksonville.
Oh, great. Awesome. Awesome. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Gary, how are you today?
I'm good.
Great.
My name is Gary Gumbo. I live in Dallas. My friend told me about NFT, so I just registered to learn more about it and how to trade it.
Okay, perfect. That's what we'll be talking about today. All right, Tor Honda, how are you?
Good. How are you? Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Taronda. I'm in Jacksonville. I just wanted to learn about NFTs before I decide to get into them. So I appreciate you doing this meetup.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you. Great. Well, thanks for joining. And let's see who else. Anyone else want to speak up that didn't? Ibis, how are you? I'm not sure I hear anything there. Okay, looked like she was talking, but I didn't hear anything. So, okay, anyone else? Okay, anyways, no worries. Okay, some folks may not have a microphone. Okay,
hello?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, hello, hi, how are you?
Yes,
Hi,
my name is Fred. I have some few questions regarding Ethereum account, running an Ethereum account, you know?
Okay, great. Yeah, I'll be going through, Metamask and how to set up accounts and all that. And I'll get to questions directly after the presentation. So, yeah, I'll be happy to answer whatever you have, Fred.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect, thank you. And anyone else? Let's see, we have, okay, Christopher says, new to Jax. Okay, welcome to Jacksonville. No, Mike. Okay, you're from Memphis originally. Okay, awesome. Awesome, great. All right, and we'll go ahead now and continue. All right, so what I'd like to go through here, and again, we have a lot to cover, and I'm just double checking. Okay, anyone else? Did I miss anyone? Okay, Deshaun, welcome. And you're from New York, but you're residing in Jacksonville. Welcome to Jacksonville. Okay, great. So so hopefully everybody can see my screen okay here. And basically, I'm going to focus today on OpenSea. The reason I'm going to focus on OpenSea is that that's pretty much one of the wider platforms that's been around pretty much the longest, probably the less buggy or the least buggy one, I guess is the way to say it. And it's, you know, in the top three, if not the top one. And there's a lot of marketplaces. So the first thing to clarify is if we want to buy or sell a NFT, we generally want to go to what's called an NFT marketplace. So the marketplace is where we're going to go to basically, you know, buy or sell our NFTs, sort of like the eBay of basically, you know, the commercial world. And anyone else that joined, welcome aboard. We just got started with meetups, but we'll go ahead and continue here. We have a lot to cover. All right, now, as far as how NFTs work and what you can expect from the process, what it is, I put together this basically sort of workflow. And you'll see as I go through the process how it all works. Now, one of the things that we'll need to do first is we're going to have to set up what's called a wallet. Now, there's a number of different wallets out there. And the one that you probably want to use 9 times out of 10 for a lot of these platforms is going to be Ethereum's Metamask. And the reason, now again, there's you know, certainly others that you could use. You could use the Coinbase one, you could use Wallet Hub. And again, there's pros and cons to each, but in general, MetaMask is actually really lightweight. And what you would do is you would go over here and you would download MetaMask. Now, basically, you would install this Chrome extension. And if you, and again, for those that could see the screen here at the top, you'll see this little fox. Now, MetaMask is already installed, and basically, it's connected to basically, okay. I'm going to mute everyone just to keep the background off. So we'll open it up for questions after. Okay, now to install MetaMask is really a Chrome extension. So if you've installed if you've installed a Chrome extension, it's pretty much the same process. And again, it'll take you like 3 minutes to do it. So I already have it installed, so I won't go uninstall it. And if you do that, then it causes this sort of little havoc. You have to save your key and all that. So I won't bother going through that exact process. I do have a video on it on my site, so I'll give you a link for that. But again, it's really simple. You just go ahead and install this like this, and then basically it picks up if you already have it. Now, generally, the MetaMask extension is only for Chrome. But I believe it's also available now for the Brave browser as well. So you could check that as well. And let's just double check while I'm here. Okay, it actually supports also too, you can put it on your mobile device as well. I don't usually like to use things on my mobile device. I find it sort of really hard to move my fat fingers here. So, but again, you can do it that way. So, but it's hideously easy. It is supported on Firefox, and actually it is on Edge, surprisingly. But again, and Brave. So again, usually Chrome, it's been around on Chrome since day one. And then Brave was a second browser they supported. And it looks like Edge has been supported. I just didn't realize that. So you give it a try on Edge if you like as well. All right, so that's MetaMask. So for those folks that don't have MetaMask, you would just go over here to metamask.io and feel free to pick it up. Now, also too, for those that joined, I have a Dropbox link that I added to the chat, and it is still in the chat. Let me just double check. Yeah, there's only a few chats, so it's still there. There's a link list with pretty much all the links we're going to go through today. And then there's a token cheat sheet here as well. And basically here, you can just, again, this is just a sort of step-by-step process that you could go ahead and follow along. And then there's a nice ebook here that you can also use as well. And again, it goes through what NFTs are and basically walks you through, you know, why you may want to buy them, what the use cases are. It's a basic ebook, basically. Now, I do have a couple books on Amazon that I put together. One was on the metaverse, and I do have an NFT one that I'm writing out. It probably won't be available until maybe the end of March or early April. But again, so there's a lot going on with NFTs, and it seems like every time you write a book, it's outdated in like 3 weeks. So I don't write a lot of books anymore. Anyway, so let's talk about the process. Looks like we have a message here. Let me just check. Okay, yep. So the link here is there. Okay, so basically what I'd like to do is before we go to the demo, I'm going to walk through at a high level the process. I'm going to talk about some of the sites, and then we're going to get into basically connecting to MetaMask. I'll talk about how you would set up your account on OpenSea. We'll then get into creating a collection, and then we'll get into basically listing your NFTs. And then I'll also talk about how you could sell your NFT or buy another NFT as well. Now, to do this, what you're going to have to do is first set up your Ethereum MetaMask or your Coinbase wallet. So over here on OpenSea, for example, I'm connected over here. So what I'll do is I'll log out. Okay. Now, when you go to OpenSea, and this is true for as well, I'm going to also talk about, for example, immutablex just quickly, just because for some reason, I typically like to, do a lot of trading here on immutablex. There's benefits to each platform, and you'll see as you go through some of this in the short demo here. But anyway, so for listing and selling NFTs, this is by far the easiest, I think, because of what they support. And again, a lot of it comes down to the fact that they wrap, for example, the Ethereum requirements into what's called WETH. So it's called WETH. So it's like a wrapper that they add, which is actually really nice, because what it does is when you list on OpenSea, some platforms will charge you the fee immediately, whereas OpenSea only charges you when you actually get written to the blockchain. And that's a big deal when it comes to listing NFTs. You want to look for that, because the Ethereum fees can add up to $40, $80 sometimes. I've seen some that were literally over $100. So the fees for Ethereum are pretty hefty right now. A good thing Ethereum is down. But sometimes just because the price of Ethereum is down, that doesn't mean the fees actually go down as well. And again, discussing Ethereum and how that works is sort of another discussion for another day. But just be aware, for example, Ethereum, like the price of Ethereum right now is, it went down quite a bit. I think I lost 20%. I actually sold all my Bitcoins like literally a while ago, because I think Bitcoin's going way down, but that's another discussion for another day. All right. So again, you can see here, it's 2388. It was up to like 3,200 not too long ago. Like if you look a month ago, it was 3,100. And again, in less than 2 weeks, it goes down quite a bit. So again, this is Ethereum. But again, like I said, because Ethereum's price goes down does not mean that the gas fees go down. Matter of fact, sometimes they go up. And I'll show you how you could figure out gas fees as well. Okay, so let's go back here. I'm going to walk through the process. So let me get my marker. And let's go through what we're going to go through today. So you could sort of get a visual and another visual at the same time. For me, I sort of like flow charts and I like, decision trees and all that fun stuff. That's how I learn. And then again, we'll go into a demo as well. So hopefully this gives everybody an idea of what you can expect. And the process itself is really the same at a high level, pretty much for every site that you go to. It's just a question of understanding the fees and do you pay now or do you pay later, or the percentage, or do they wrap it in, WETH or do they not, right? Okay, so let me get my pen and we'll get started here. And what color do I have here? All right, red. Let me make it a little thicker. Okay, that should be good. Okay. All right, so that's that should be good. All right, there it is. Oh, guys, I keep adding to this. It drives me crazy. It's funny because this used to be AW app I had, and they changed it to Myro. They got bought out, and they have so many features that every day they get like 3 different pop-ups. Okay, so anyways, the first thing again we need is what? A wallet. So when we get our wallet, we then would go to OpenSea, and let me move my mouse here to open up an account. So once we have this MetaMask installed and we have that box. And then the other thing you're going to need too is you'll need to go and transfer basically Ethereum to basically your MetaMask account. So let's go walk through that process since I'm already here. So over here on Ethereum, what I want to do is I'm going to buy some more Ethereum. And again, I'm going to just buy, let's just say 300. I'm going to preview that, buy, and I'll just buy that now. And again, this is one of my accounts, demo accounts that I use because I use this for training quite a bit. Okay, so that should update. And then once that's available, I should be able to send that over to, and again, the thing with Ethereum is that it's hideously slow. But it's a platform and it works, for what it does. So once that goes up, and we'll come back to that in a second. It's been really slow for quite a while, it seems lately. All right, and then so what we'll do, we'll give it another minute to sync up, and then we'll go ahead and send that Ethereum from Coinbase over to MetaMask. Okay, so we'll open up the account. So basically, when we open up the wallet, we need to buy basically, our Ethereum. So, and so that's basically Ethereum. Okay, so hopefully that is synced up now. And now we have the Ethereum. So what I want to do now is I want to send it. So when I send it, I need to have what's called the address to send to. Now, to get that, I simply go into my Ethereum account here, my MetaMask account, and I copy the Ethereum MetaMask address. Now, I'm going to paste it in here. And again, we'll go back to this after I send it because sometimes it could be 3 to 5 minutes before it all syncs up. Just never know. And so basically there, that'll be the address. And then I want to put in, let's say, I want to know 300 or whatever. And let's continue. And again, you always want to double check the address because if you send this out to the wrong address, you lose your money pretty much. So there's a network fee that you pay. It's, you know, a small fee per se. It's just this time. But again, when you sort of go through the process, your fees are going to add up, as you'll see. This is like the Coinbase fee. And then basically, again, you get your warning. I got to do my little factor authentication here. Now, again, for folks in the US, you have some choices, for example, like Coinbase, BlockFi, there's eToro, there's all kinds of different options. Out of the US, I'm not sure. You'll need to figure out what marketplace you can use to, not what marketplace, but what exchange you could use, because Coinbase is really an exchange. So again, you go through that process and you're done. And, you know, it should take less than 10 minutes on a good day. All right, so we'll go back and check. And then basically here, I would go to my MetaMask. And you could see there that I still didn't get anything yet. And it'll update and we'll check in a few minutes. All right, so let's go back over here and walk through the process. So basically now, after I add Ethereum to my MetaMask account, because everything's going to connect with your wallet, to buy or sell anything on the marketplaces, you're going to have to connect your wallet. In reality, to even set up an account, they're going to ask you to connect your wallet generally. So again, having the wallet ready is really the first step. And then adding funds to your Coinbase account or whatever you use, or you know, BlockFi, whatever you may use, and then basically trading that for, you know, basically taking that funds that you add, you know, basically your fiat currency, and then basically trade that for Ethereum, and then you're going to send that Ethereum to MetaMask. Once it's in MetaMask, we then can connect to basically our OpenSea, for example, to basically start trading or buying or selling. Okay. So basically here we're going to get on OpenSea. So once we connect up with MetaMask, we then can go create a collection. So the next step after we connect our accounts, we're good to go, we're going to create what's called a collection. So a collection is basically what it sounds like. It's a collection of NFT items that you're going to list for sale. Once we create that collection, we then can sell the items basically in that collection. So a collection can be anywhere from 1 to thousands and thousands of NFTs. So for example, if we go over here to OpenSea, I'm going to now connect my MetaMask. So you go over here, connect your wallet. And let me do that again, just because I want to talk about one thing here. Okay. So OpenSea, and you'll see that immutablex is different. For example, Rarible is different. Pretty much every marketplace supports MetaMask. That's why I like it. If I go over here to, let's say, immutablex, and I disconnect my wallet, and then I connect my wallet again, basically, I have a choice of MetaMask or Magic, and then I could also create another wallet as well, for example, like a third-party wallet. But in reality, like I said, MetaMask is, you know, tried and true. You connect your wallet, go over here to connect. So what I'm going to do is connect that wallet, go next, connect. And then I've got to go sign in again. Now, it's basically doing that because what it's doing is it's sending out a connection request, and then we get a signature request. So effectively, what I'm doing is I'm signing what is effectively a smart contract to connect. Then I sign in, and bingo, my wallet is connected. Does that, hopefully that makes sense. If you have a question, just go ahead and pipe in the chat about it. I'll take a quick look. But again, I'll get to the main questions at the end. All right, so what I like to do now is, for example, talk quickly about like trading. So for example, here I've got 4 NFTs that I have bought. And one thing that you're going to see is there is a list price. So you could list this NFT for whatever price you want. I could cancel the listing. So if I cancel the listing, and this is the same on OpenSea, and I'm going to walk through that in a second. But again, we're going to focus mainly on OpenSea because that's where most people will likely go. But so over here, I've got Mr. Daska here of Guild of the Guardians for 0.0399 Ethereum. I'm going to go ahead and remove him from sale. And as you see, it's going to connect me to the wallet again. I got to then sign this basically signature request, like a contract effectively. And then if I go back to my inventory, you can see here that these 3 are listed for sale and this one isn't. So let's say, for example, I go over here and let's say buy, like this one's crazy here. Oh no, I have to go to the marketplace first. So like this one here, this is one of the more popular ones. We also have some lookalikes like the cyberpunk ones. Now, one thing to be aware of, most of these collections are going to be unique on each of the marketplaces, but some, what I have seen quite a bit is you'll see a lot of copycats. Like for example, the cyberpunk ones, you'll see tons of copycats around that in different platforms, or the apes. You know, the Yacht Club, Ape Club, or whatever it's called. So like the apes with attitude, like this one here is 0.105 Ethereum. Now, this again is a confusing part. So for example, there's a royalty. So for example, it's also telling me that I need to deposit more funds to buy, you know, this if I want to buy it. So I would go and deposit if I wanted to buy that. So for example, 0.105 Ethereum, for those that just want an easy way to convert it. So go to Ether to dollar, and it'll convert it basically over here. And again, you go right here and put in like, let's see. And that'll convert it over. So $254 or so about to buy this one NFT. Where the heck was I? Oh, here it is. So again, you know, again, I wouldn't want to buy it anyways, but just, you know, just so you could see what it would cost. So that's, you know, just one example. Now, if I want to go back to my inventory, I want to go sell this one. Oh, no, sorry. This one is not listed for sale. Okay. So if I want to list this for sale, so this is what typically a trader would do all day, is they're going to play around with this. So, and so you'll buy an NFT, you're going to sell it. Now the goal is you got to figure out, for example, what people would probably pay, what the Ethereum fees would be, the marketplace fees, and also too, you have to choose a currency. So the currency, for example, could be in immutablex. It could be Ethereum. It could also be another token. Now, these are all basically tokens on the Ethereum blockchain. And one thing, you know, like with immutablex and OpenSea and Rarible, they are adding different tokens over time. So, but again, you can't go wrong with Ethereum because of the fact it's accepted everywhere. The reality is that, you know, God's on chain, you know, no one takes that token, but they do have a token. So if you want to use that instead, you can. But again, it's your call. So I'm just going to make it simple and go with Ethereum. And then I want to basically, you know, sell this for, let's say, you know, 4.4, just some silly price, you know, and then basically list it for sale. And then again, I got to sign a contract effectively and sign it. So again, once that's done, it'll go ahead and list that. Then I go back to my inventory, and then you'll see that it's not there yet, but again, it is Ethereum. So It can take a minute to sort of pop up, and we'll check that in a little bit. So with that said, that's the process to just basically trade. You're gonna buy an NFT, you're gonna sell it. You'll buy another one, you'll sell it, and that again, it's not particularly glorious, but people do it. Okay, now over here, let's go back to OpenSea. So here's where we're at, and let me check the chat here. Okay, smart contract. Fred is asking about smart contracts. Yes, so basically, a smart contract is basically a snippet of computer code that is used to connect to your Ethereum wallet and actually sort of, it's used basically in the sense of OpenSea and NFTs, more as a way to agreeing to the fact that you want to list this for sale on the blockchain. Now, a smart contract is really computer code that is going to execute when certain conditions are met. For example, I like to, and this is a common analogy, all the blockchain gurus that have never actually deployed a blockchain in their lives will tell you the same thing. Like Don Tapscott, basically it's like a vending machine. If you put in $5 and that item is $4.99, you'll get it. If it's $5.01, you won't get the item out of the vending machine. So the simplest way to think of a smart contract is that it's a way to enforce a condition being met. So a vending machine is going to be sort of executing on a condition. If you meet the condition, that contract is executed. If you don't meet it, it's not executed. I like to sort of compare it as well to like a 0 and a 1. Okay, it's your input is 0, it doesn't do anything. If your input is 1, it's going to go ahead and proceed. It really is that simple. Now, putting them together though is another story. So that's another story for another day. Now, again, so I hope that answered your question. Now, so basically, there is in the background. Now, again, this is transparent, Fred, to you and everyone else. Because when you're listing or buying something, you're executing a contract. You're agreeing that you're going to buy or sell this NFT item. So, and that's executed via what's called a smart contract. Now, on OpenSea, they have a pretty decent help area, I think, help center. It goes through, how it works on OpenSea. Again, I hope that answered your question at a high level, but we need to proceed because of my hard stop. So I want to get to the fun here. Okay, so let's go Metamask. And I'm going to connect. Did I already connect? Let's do that again. All right. So like I was saying with wallets, I choose Metamask because it's accepted everywhere, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and connect. And there. Okay. So what we're going to do today is what I have done is, again, for demo purposes, I put together. So my daughter actually, who's 9 years old, wrote a couple books already. And we took some of her characters and basically created NFTs for the fun of it. And so this is what I've been using for like for training purposes, just to show people what you can do. Now, first, I just want to show you sort of some other sites before I forget. All right, so we know immutablex is one, and in the link list, I think I have all of them listed. Now, for those that are curious, one of the things I would get is where can I go to find out, more about what the NFTs are trading for? Now, basically, these are collections. So a collection is exactly this. So let's go over here to Explore. So all of these are collections. So for example, the Yacht Club apes, they have their own collection. The doggies, this is one that's a Snoop Dogg one. This is the one from Snoop Dogg. So Snoop Dogg is this actor or singer, I guess. I don't really follow him, but he's really popular. And so his NFT collection is here. It's called the Doggies. And the floor price is 0.06. And looking at this, the activity is still pretty low compared to like the top ones. But this is basically metaverse avatars. So for example, the metaverse is basically where you can go to use your virtual reality, augmented reality, and, you know, sort of leave the world for a little bit and go into the virtual world. So you could have your own land in the metaverse. You could have your own Snoop Dogg dog icon. You could add whatever you want. And then you would basically sell this and market it in the metaverse as well. So you could do any number of things with these. And then what we want to do over here is, oops, go back over here. So what you want to do before you create a collection is to always see what's out there and just get some ideas, because like, for example, some of these are really creative and some of them are just horrible, at least to me. I mean, like, you know, some of these like Penguin Island, this one here, I sort of like, it's, you know, fairly cheap. They have okay volume. Some of these are actually just sort of cool. I like the, you know, the graphics look really good. You know, again, I wouldn't spend really too much on it, but yeah, it's okay. It's cool. And then again, you know, there's all kinds of different stuff. So I would encourage you to take a look around and then get some ideas on what you want to do for creating an NFT. So the question again that you might be asking is, how do I create an NFT? Well, you're going to, first of all, if you're creative, I am not creative when it comes to art. I can barely write. So I know for my case, what I do is I just go to Fiverr and I have a couple artists that I use that basically put together different animations. So Valiant Graphics I've used, they've been pretty good. And for example, what they'll do, and this is how the process would work, is you would basically get, for example, so for example, with my, I don't know, again, if you're going to see that, but, you know, my daughter's little book here, it's about princesses and dragons and princes and all that, right? Again, we're just doing this for fun. I mean, the reality is, you know, the market for, and here's the thing I always tell people, know your demographics. So for example, if you don't know your demographics, you're going to just be probably wasting your time, because the demand for NFTs overall isn't really there compared to what you're hearing in the marketplace. And you'd validate this by looking at so many of these collections that haven't sold anything or just a few. But there's certain ones that are constantly being bid up. So you want to sort of look at the marketplace. Now, most of these are probably going to be, and again, I'm not here to sort of, you know, offend anyone. I'm, you know, again, here's the demographics. There's studies on it. You can look it up. Matter of fact, at Permissionless last year, they went through, you know, what is the marketplace for a lot of these NFTs? Well, it's going to be pretty much a white male that's going to be anywhere from 18 to about 32 years old. That's the majority of the interest in NFTs. So if you want to get the market share interest, you don't do dragons and princesses, right? So that's, again, just sort of making people think about things. And again, just realize, so you want to go over here to basically, let's say, immutablex, and you'll see like all of these here are what? They're going to be pretty much focused on, you know, young males. They like the, you know, they like the monkeys and, you know, the battle gear and, you know, cartoon stuff, right? So most of these are going to be, again, that's going to be a market in most cases. Now, I'm not saying if, you know, you're going to market princesses that there isn't a market there. It's just that it's a lot smaller. So just be aware of that when you create your NFT. So you have an idea. What do? Well, you go over here to Fiverr and work with the designer, for example. This is just one option. Upwork is another example. And then there's also too what is an NFT generator. But again, you still need to have skills to put together the graphics. So there's, if you want to do a little manual work, it's there. It's just, you'll need to find it. So I think it's called NFT Generator. There's a few out there, and I think it's Figma. I think I have a link in the thing, like here, Hotspot, I think it was. There's 3 or 4 out there. So there's different tools that you could use. It's just some of these are going to be manual, some are free. Some are going to cost you a few $100s. Some are going to need a license to use. So they're all, again, if you have the creativity and you like doing like stuff like Adobe Photoshop or something, then this is going to be great. You'll have fun. And to be honest, if you are able to do that, you'll probably make a lot more money putting together the NFT collections than selling them. That's what they don't want to tell you, because here's the secret that you're not going to find out. So basically we're here. We're going to create a collection right now. And then after we do that, we're going to go sell items. And then we have to sign the contract, and then we wait for the sale. So there is a step process that happens, but we're right here. We have to design the NFTs. So we go over here to Fiverr. We get a designer. So over here, like you go to the gig, again, a lot of people don't understand what's involved with basically putting together a collection. So you need to do design work first, and then you go over here and, you're going to need a collection of these to sell. So this is like 10,000. I just think that's crazy. Like for me, I'm just doing 100 or 200 at a time. And this will put together 50 traits. So you'll see here that you have different types of whatever. This is a dog, I guess, with glasses, and then red glasses, pink glasses, a black hat, a white hat, a pink hat. So that's what a collection is. It's nothing more than basically a bunch of artwork with different variations. Now, NFTs are supposed to be non-fungible, meaning that when I go over here to, let's say, one of these, where is that one here? Okay, let's go to Penguin Island, again, just for the fun of it, that each of these penguins are different. In other words, none of these will be the same, basically. In other words, they're going to be non-fungible, meaning that they're not copied, right? So you can't sell 2 or 3 of these. Now, you can sell 2,000 of the same ones if you want, and that sort of defeats the non-fungible purpose, right? So again, these are just some things to think about. Okay, so let's go now create our collection. And so we transferred our Ethereum, and let me go ahead and close that window. Okay, so we're right here. So what we want to do now is create our collection. Let me check my MetaMask. And now I have that 300 that I sent. So I have $500. So I'm going to walk through purchasing an NFT. And I'm going to also walk through creating a collection and adding items. Okay, so now what I want to do is I'm going to go over here. I'm done with the immutablex, so I'm going to get that out of the way. Okay, so coin market cap. Again, this is where you want to go. Also, too, one of the questions I get is, how do I find out about new NFT sales? Discord's probably the #1 place, or Twitter. But also, too, coin market cap lists the different NFT sales that are coming up. And it tells you how to get in the pre-sale. Now, you go over here to view more, and you can see like the different ones that are coming up. And again, some of these are interesting. Some of these are like copies of what was really already done 10 times over. But typically you have to sign up on Discord. Now, Discord is basically a server that is set up by the organizers that everybody's going to join in and chat and post messages and stuff, get questions. You have to go ahead and get invited to these typically, so just be aware of that. Some of these actually have a form you have to fill out before they let you in the Discord. So that's another thing to be aware of. Okay, so we're done with that. All right, so we're done with that, I think. We're done with that and that. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to OpenSea. I want to go over here to my collections. So I have, again, a couple different collections here. This is my sort of training collections that I'm using. So I'm going to go create a collection. So remember, a collection is nothing more than your NFT items. And as you see, right, everything is done in MetaMask. I always have to use MetaMask. And the same thing with other wallets. If you want to use Coinbase wallet, you can. Same thing. You're going to have to connect over and over. Go ahead and sign the signature. And now here is where I go to create my collection. Now, I'm going to want to have basically a bunch of graphics to basically get started with. Now, for the collection title or whatever, you'll want to think of something. Now, I'm just going to use one of these. Again, this is just for fun. But as you see, like we created a bunch of graphics, and each of these are unique, and then they'll be sold individually. But again, when you start out with an NFT collection, generally what a lot of NFT sellers do is they start off with like 100, and then they post them, and then they add to that collection because it can take some time to get these sorted out and assembled. So there's a little work involved. So I'm going to go ahead and pick this one here, and I'm going to add a feature image. So we're just going to create basically a feature image and then a banner image. Now, again, in reality, you're going to want to have the designer create all these for you and then put them together in, whatever sense. So if you're going to do another, Bored Ape Club one, you'll want to have, something that's going to attract your audience, right? So think of what you're looking for and do your best to make it as attractive as possible. So I'm going to call this basically the Princess Collection. Now, again, just to be aware, some of this you can change, some of it you can't. So remember, once you set some of this, you can change like the name and stuff and the images. But once you get sort of some of the links and the blockchain connected, some of it you can't. So just be aware. You want to sort of think about this. Now over here, the URL is going to be where you want to connect. So for example, like you'll probably want to put together a web page, for example, of your NFT collection. Like for example, what I would call the ICO page. In this case, I'm just going to use just a website, but in reality, you're going to want to use basically a link. Did I already do that? Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Whoops, right down there. Okay. So here, yeah, they already took it. I was wondering why that came up like that. Okay, collection number 2. Okay, so I already had somebody already taken that one. And then over here, I'm going to customize this link and just call whatever I want. And then over here, I'm just going to add some text just for the fun of it. And you could always update this part. And again, like I said, make sure, so the description, what this does is this is going to improve your metadata, and then also SEO on the OpenSea platform. So if it's about like Soldiers of Fortune or, hairstylists, epic hairstylists or whatever you call it, right? Try to get the keywords because it's really, really important to get the keywords, because the reality is that OpenSea or any other platform is going to promote, sort of like YouTube, if you think about it. if YouTube has 1 million views on this channel and 100 on another one, which one do you think YouTube's going to promote, right? So same thing, right? The marketplace wants to make money. So they're going to go with the ones they're going to promote that are making them money. So you're going to have to be creative to pick up on the search. So please think about that ahead of time. Now, add category. So for example, the category, also too, you can do not just like graphics, but you could also add videos. You create trading cards, music, for example, as well. I'm going to go collectibles in this case. And then the earnings. So you want to put like a fee, for example. Now, the fee is basically going to be, let's say, 5%, 10%, could be 3%, whatever you want, right? It's your call. Now, what does the fee do? Now, if you're an artist, let me give you a scenario. One of the things that we're doing here in Jacksonville is we're starting to work with the art community on helping them sort of think about how they could create revenue streams. So for example, if you're an artist, is anyone here an artist by chance? Just curious. If you are, let me know. I'm happy to connect with you, later. Actually, too, I might set up another, I guess, meetup or Zoom call, let's say, and give ideas to folks. Because what the artists are doing, for example, is they're starting to put together basically basically items or collectibles is really the term to use, that they're selling, and basically they're just creating variations of their artwork. So for example, if you're creating statues or you're creating paintings, or there's an artist that does like recyclable artwork. So I guess she collects trash or whatever, sends it off to some factory. They make it into like a fabric or something, or not a fabric, like a, I don't know some of the art terms that well, but it's almost like a formable like fabric that they use to create art. So whatever that term is, forgive me if I don't know it. So what I'm getting at here is, so they're taking, snapshots or creating icons that they could sell for, $20 or $30 or $100 or $200. And then they're going to get basically a fee every time someone resells that artwork, even if they don't own it. So that's the cool part. This is a cash flow approach that they're creating. All right, so next, you want to put your payout address here. And again, your wallet address. So when you sell it, they're going to send the payout to your Ethereum wallet. Now, I could select for this to be on Polygon as well. So the two choices on OpenSea is Ethereum or Polygon. Again, I'm going to go with Ethereum because it's hard to go wrong with Ethereum. Now, I could also sell in Ethereum or WETH. So what is the difference between Ethereum and WETH? Basically, WETH is a wrapper that's created so that you're not going directly per se. So it's really more of a way to avoid the fees on the Ethereum blockchain until you have to pay them. So it's a way to sort of think about it as like a conversion process, because the WETH is basically the token that is an Ethereum token on the Ethereum blockchain. Ethereum is basically what is used by developers, basically, and now traders as well, basically to support the Ethereum blockchain. And WETH is basically a token that's used by OpenSea. It's like a conversion process, a layer that has lower fees. So that's the reason why you want to use it a lot of times. Now, either or could be positive or negative depending on who the buyer is. Like some buyers like me don't want to go through the nuisance of having to convert back and forth every time. So I just go to Ethereum and just leave it, because we're talking maybe 50 cents sometimes at most. And again, that's because I don't do too much trading to where it matters, right? And I could add a token as well. So for example, let's say Mana is really popular as well. So for example, I want to give my buyers a choice on how to buy my collection. So it could be Ethereum, WETH, Mana. And again, I could add a couple more, and like USD coin. So again, it's up to what you want to deal with as a seller and how much converting you want to do, because there's fees involved in everything. So again, it's another discussion for another day to go through the pros and cons of each of these. All right, now this is the display theme. Basically, you have a couple choices here. It's just the way it visually looks. It's up to you. What I would tell you is just to play around with it. And you could change this later if you want. So figure out what the dashboard looks like to you. The default is that. Now, if you have sensitive content, that has bad words or graphics that are suggestive, you'll need to turn that on, because even though this is a blockchain-based service, you need to have the warning on. They can still block you down the road. A lot of people think because it's blockchain, they can't block you. Again, this is not immutable. The marketplace is not immutable like the Ethereum blockchain, because we're doing all this before the Ethereum blockchain. So I hope that made sense. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and create this. Okay, and now it's created that. Okay, so now what we want to do is go back to the collection number 2. And I'm just going to go over here to, I always forget that. Go back to my collections. Okay, now you can see I have 4 collections. So I have this collection here where we added several items and listed them for sale. Now let's talk about some of these numbers here. Now, this is the number of items that have been listed in this collection. Again, this is not serious collection. It's just for fun. Again, this is easy to set up and sell. Again, I always tell people, know your market and who you're marketing to. The reality is that most 9-year-olds couldn't log into Ethereum if you told them how to. So, but again, it's more for fun, right? Now, in your case, think about it, get that ready. Make sure you get your images done. Now also too, these images need to be in a very specific format. Your editor that you hire or the market generator that you use will put them in the proper format. They have to be the exact dimensions, otherwise the upload will fail. So try to avoid mistakes like that if you can. Okay, so let's go ahead now. Now, again, I listed, just for purposes of this, I'm going to go list this collection. So there's nothing in this collection. So I'm going to go add an item. All right, so just so you can see that, I'm going to slow down here. We still got a few minutes. I've got another hard stop here in 20-something minutes. So I'm going to add the item. Okay, so now an item is an individual graphic in this case. Now, the file types supported are right here. So your developer can give you a wide variety. Now, again, it depends on what you're trying to do. In this case, this is just a simple graphic. On the other hand, if you want to do something that has motion to it or something, that's going to cost you about double the money to design. Just be aware of that from what I have seen. All right, so I'm going to go over here and add just one of these. I'm going to call this Princess Destiny. And I'm going to, basically say, I don't know, with crown, just again, you'll want to think of what I've noticed too is, and I've done this too with other clients, is you'll want to sit down and put together like a spreadsheet. And I could dig one up actually, and I'll post that spreadsheet on the Dropbox. Just give me a couple hours or a day and I'll get it on there. What you want to do is you'll need to think of your metadata as when you're doing this. So I'm going to show you why. Now, this is the external link. Now, because my daughter has a web page and an Amazon page and all that, I'm just going to put her link here. And whoops, I actually have to copy this. And so I'm going to go back over here and I'm going to put the link. Now, what you probably want to do in your case is put together a website or Discord site that people can go to find out more about the story of the token, right? That's really what it is. Now, this is description. Again, you go over here and just add whatever you want. You know, let me just get some text. And then again, this is the stuff you want to have ready. But here's the thing that a lot of people miss. You have to go to properties. So one of the things I do really good at is I've been working and teaching Google Analytics for a while. And if you know Google, for example, they rank everything by SEO, by how well your page ranks. And that varies day by day. The good part about, for example, OpenSea and any other site is they're not constantly changing. They're not constantly changing how the algorithm works. So what you want to do here is put in like the character. So the character is what? In this case, it's a princess. And then the name, so it's Destiny, let's say, Princess Destiny. Now I'm going to add more metadata. So this graphic had a crown, and then it had like a blue shirt or something, whatever, just for this case, I don't remember, I should have looked. And it had a blue shirt. So I know this seems a little silly to go through, but if you go and look at the top NFT collections, some of these have like 20 or 30 metadata points added. So it's very important if you're serious about selling these to put this together in a spreadsheet to make sure that you have it ready. Now, so you can see here that these are some of the traits that were listed. Now, levels. So what is this about? So the level is basically going to allow, for example, now this sort of matters in certain like MOV files and all that. Forgive me, I had my email on, sorry. So you could change the speed or whatever. In this case, it's not going to matter because I just have a standard JPEG file. But I think it's like, and I'm still playing around with some of these because I'm not very good at like the slow motion ones that you'll see, or the graphics that use like GLB or WEBM or whatever it is. So I'm still playing around with some of these, figuring out how some of these work. But for those, again, you'll need the designer. You have to specify that because they're going to do the easiest thing they can do, which is JPEG, unless if you tell them otherwise. Okay, now this is unlockable content. This is stats. So what you could do, again, is add your stats and levels as well. And this is important for, again, some of the ones that have motion where you click on it and they jump or they smile or whatever they do. Okay, so the supply, now, because this is an NFT, I typically only want to create one of these. However, I could create 20 of these at the same time if I want. Now, to do this, I could mint. Now, the term mint, forgive me, one sec, I got some in my eye. Okay, so the term mint is basically saying I'm going to basically create a number of these. So I can mint 1 or mint 20. Now, when I mint these, there's no additional cost. The cost is going to come in when they're sold. Now, when you create 20 of these, you are selling 20 of these at the same time. A lot of people don't realize that. Now, how do you change this? What you have to do, and I have it in the presentation here somewhere, You have to add the extension to your browser link, basically. Here it is. So you have to add this here. So you have to say enable supply true. And so, for example, you'll see that this link is here. So what I want to do now is I add this to be supply true. So now, as you see, though, it blows away what I created. However, I now can change this to whatever I want. So that's something that people don't realize, because by default, that's turned on because they're sort of thinking it's an NFT. So if I change this to 20 or 30 or whatever, it's actually not really non-fungible anymore. It's really sort of semi-fungible, because fungible means it's unique, or, basically, again, you're creating variations, or you're creating the number of the same object over and over. So again, that's up to you on what you want to do. So that's how you would change that. All right. So again, create a new item. I'm going to go speed through this quickly, and I'll create it. I'll just leave that blank for now. No big deal. You don't have to have a link, but again, if you're going to actually want to sell them, you'll want to, I think you do have to have a description there, though. Enter your properties here. And again, I'm going to go to questions here in about 5 minutes, because it'll be quick after this. And basically here you see supply one. Now I could choose the blockchain that I want to have the transaction posted on. By default, use Ethereum. It's going to just save you a lot of headache and learning about 20 different things at the same time. Go ahead and create. Any questions? Okay. Yeah, if you have any questions, just let me know. Okay. Okay. All right, so now I've created my first item here. Okay, now it's really simple to sell. I'm going to go now. Here's the thing. You'll see here it's all the details. Again, not much here, but you're going to want to add as much metadata as possible, because you want to rank, you want to describe your project, and just get noticed as easy as possible, right? So go over here to sell. Now, the other thing you do is share this on Facebook or Twitter, or embed it as well in your website. So you could do those things. And then I could always edit it here. And then I just go to sell. All right, so you could do two different approaches. I could do a fixed price or an auction. So for example, I could do a fixed price of, let's say, 0.050, which is $119, let's say. And I could do a duration of basically 7 days. Now I could change that to any number of days that I want. You have flexibility in that. There's also more options. So what I could do is sell this as a bundle if I want. If I added, for example, multiple items, I could just add it as a bundle. Now, again, a couple of things here you want to think about. So you're going to be paying a service fee, and as a creator, you're going to get a 3% fee. But the service fee to OpenSea is going to be 2.5%. So in this case, it's going to be what, about $3 or so. So it's not a high fee, but it is a fee. Now that's going to happen when when it's sold. So you don't pay the fees yet. You pay them when the transaction is completed. So I'm going to go ahead and complete the listing. And you'll see here, it's going to ask for my wallet again. And you'll see what's going to pop up now is a bunch of code, a bunch of numbers. Okay, what this is you're going to have to scroll down the bottom. This is basically the smart contract. What you're saying basically, now again, it's going to just show the listing time and basically code that's understood by OpenSea and Ethereum. And then basically it'll also list the fees that are involved. So for example, you're agreeing to pay a 3% fee. That's really in here. So again, take a look at it if this is of interest. Then you have to sign it. Sort of like getting that, e-document where you have to sign. Now, what you could do is set up emails and add your email, for example, to be notified. And that's really about it. So and let's connect I just hit the wrong button. I had to move my mouse. I usually work in the office, but today I stayed home because I have another appointment to go to. So let's go back here to my collections and we'll look at the Princess collection. And now we can see that that item is now for sale. And if I click on it, basically the sale ends on March 3rd at 10:17 a.m. And now if there's any activity on it, you could view that and you could lower the price as well. Now, one thing is you'll want to set a floor price to your collection. It could be, 0.005 Ethereum or 2 Ethereum, whatever you want. It's your call. Again, the higher the price, the less likely it'll probably be bought. But again, it depends on your audience too. And you'll need to figure that out. My advice is start low and then, start high and then lower it over time if that's what you want to do. But again, if you're a celebrity, it's going to be a lot easier to sell them than someone else just, trying something on their own, right? That's generally what you would see. You could also cancel it here as well. So now let's talk about stats. So let's go to Explorer. Let's take one of the popular ones and go over to, where is this Bored Ape Club? So the Bored Ape Yacht Club, for example, has 10,000 items. The Mutant Ape Yacht Club, that one there has a lot of items. This one here, the floor price. Does anybody want to guess what the floor price is to buy one of these? Well, basically, it's like 12 Ethereum. So if you put in over here, 12 Ethereum, that's almost $30,000. You know what I mean? It's crazy. I don't even understand the rationale. But here's what I've noticed. I'm going to show you a little secret so none of you get your hopes up too much, thinking you're going to be the next Bored Ape Club. So what you want to do is go back over here and click on any one of these and click on, let's say, this one here. Go down and look at the transactions. So you'll see that this was created basically for $3.55, and magically it's bid up to 28,000. Now, you'll notice that a lot of these addresses are going to be similar between all the collections. And if you click on, let's say, which one is it? This one, I think it's Beyond AJ was one of them. You'll notice that, sure, he buys the same collection only. And then if you go over here to this Ethereum address, you could go over to EtherStats and just figure out that that was a new wallet just, created for that collection. So chances are what I know is happening as well, and I've talked to people that know people that do this. A lot of traders that do these collections, they're intentionally buying their own collection with different wallets or paying other people to do it, and they're trying to bid up the price. This is manipulating the market. So sometimes what you see isn't exactly what's real. So if you go over here you could put in any Ethereum address, for example, and track it down. Actually, I went to EtherStats. I actually do want to go to Ether. I think it's called. There's a couple of them. Explorer. Let's see, Blockchain Explorer. But this is a good one here. It tells you the activity of Ethereum and what's going on. Right here, Etherscan. So if you go to Etherscan, you could just put in an address and look for that address. And oh, golly gee, isn't that a new address? And you'll see if you go through the major collections, I saw one after spending 30 minutes, 70% of the addresses were all created the same day. Just saying. So when you see these insane numbers, I just think, it's clear that, you've got a lot of people with money and free time that are trying to just create their own market pretty much. So just be aware of that. I always tell folks, whether you buy or sell them, check the activity. You have to spend time on that because you will realize that they don't sell. And I've had some that sat for 3 months and I paid $300 for them. And before I bought it, there was a lot of activity. And I'm like, I lower the price, no one buys it. So I said, something's not right here. So you'll see that. So I always advise you take your time. It's not financial advice. I'm just sort of saying due diligence. Okay, let's go to questions. Any questions? All right. Hope everybody enjoyed the session. The recording will be available. Questions, Fred?
Hello. Okay. Please, just one more question regarding the Ethereum account. In the Ethereum account, there's a place they ask you to verify your smart contract address. Is it important to verify your smart contract address?
Oh, yes. Yeah, you're going to have to do that because your smart contract address is going to be how you are basically transferring Ethereum. So if you transfer to the wrong address or you try to buy from the wrong address, you're not going to go anywhere.
Then
so,
how do you verify your smart contract address?
I'm sorry?
Then how do I verify my smart contract address?
Oh, okay. So so Ethereum address is different than the smart contract address. There's different layers. That's a totally different discussion. Okay. For what you're doing here on OpenSea and immutablex, it's all done for you. It's all transparent. But you can go into here and look at your activity. And when you buy one, for example, you go over here to watch list or whatever you set up and buy one. So for example, here, what was I going to buy? Let's go to Explore. But I'm going to have to take it a little bit early, unfortunately. So like if you take one of these, like I'll just give you an example. The floor price is 0.309. So again, go over here. It's $263. So you can place a bid. And then you place a bid. You can convert Ethereum if you want. Now you'll get a pop-up. Now, for example, when you sell your NFT collection as well, it'll have an address in there, but that's not actually the address that's on the blockchain. Okay. What I would recommend you do is go to because there's two levels of addresses. There's an Ethereum address that's used for the blockchain that's internal, which is like a network address, sort of like having an internal IP and an external IP, if you understand that.
Yeah.
But I'm happy if you want to connect up on Meetup or LinkedIn, I'll send you more information. Just give me a day to get back to you, but it's relatively simple. So if you're doing programming or development, then you need that address. If you're not, then you don't really need it anyways, because the program won't work if you don't have it right anyways. That's what should happen. I hope that made sense.
Okay, okay. So how can I, your LinkedIn address, please, so that if I can want to reach you?
Yeah. Feel free to connect up on it, and I'll post it here in the chat as well. And let me put in the chat. Okay, any other questions? I got maybe another 3-4 minutes I could spare. All right, hopefully the session was good and that everybody learned something new. Also, too, for those that, again, are interested, if you go to our site, we do have training on techcommanders.com as well. So feel free to sign up for that. Some of it is free, some of it is not. So I'll leave it up to you to check it out. But it's right here on Techcommanders. We have an NFT course, metaverse course, blockchain and blockchain certifications, AWS blockchain as a service. And if anyone's in IT as well, getting a blockchain certification is adding a lot of value to a lot of companies, like, for example, the integrators that I see, IBM vendors, for example. Also, too, I've noticed Facebook has been looking for professionals quite a bit. So there's a lot of opportunities out there, no matter what side of the house you're on in blockchain. Whether you want to do the work, whether you want to buy, whether you want to sell, you want to create,